Hey guys, welcome back to Frosty Pine Labs. Today we're going to go over the cleaning process for the SRV2 Siberian by Black Creek Labs. Maintenance is essential to make sure that your firearm runs reliably and safely, so let's get started and into the cleaning process. Here's a list of stuff you're going to need. We have a small brush, we have our patches, microfiber, we have a bore brush, we have a jag, and we have a cloth holder, as well as our cleaning rod here. We have our Ballistol Gun X gun oil and our Hoppe's number 9 gun bore cleaner or solvent. Some people use CLP or something similar. I find this just does a great job as well. So once you have all your stuff, you're ready to move on to the next part. So before we begin, we need to absolutely make sure that our firearm is not loaded. So we're going to point it in a safe direction. Make sure that we're on safe. Now we're going to pull our bolt back, our bolt carrier here. Check inside, have a feel inside your chamber. There's nothing in there, your action's open. So now you can see that we're pretty safe here. I'm gonna close that up, go to the racket and we're good to go there. So we don't have anything inside the gun, gun's in safe, pointed in a safe direction, and we're good to move on. All right, so first we need to field strip the rifle. We have 2 pins here. Now, first thing we're gonna wanna do is push this pin from the left side of the rifle out. Now the pins are fairly loose. Sometimes you might need a tool to push it if it's a little stiff. I don't really have fingernails to pull it out, so there's that. But once this pin is out now, we're going to leave the front one in just so it pivots, and we're going to pull out the bolt carrier here. So with that pin pushed out now, we're able to separate the rifle, and you see the top and lower, the upper and lower to separate like that. We're going to take our non-reciprocating charging handle and pull it back, and it's going to pull out our bolt carrier. Now we're going to set this off to the side. And now that that's out, I realized to clean it, it might actually be easier to take out this front pin as well. So I'm just going to use the tool, push that pin, do that, and you're going to see that our upper and lower are now separated. Pretty basic and easy to do. It comes with the folding Zukov stock by Magpul. It's nice they have the QD points here. There's a spot for a QD point here and on the other side as well. It folds in, connects via adapter to a pick rail in the back here. So if you don't like this, you can swap it out for any back that goes onto the pick rail there. So what I recommend here, if you have a bunch of gunk in your trigger, this one's pretty clean. If you have a bunch, you can use your Hoppe's cleaner there. I'm going to use some Ballistol. I like this stuff. I'm going to put it in there. Just give it a quick spray. Just leave it. I'm going to leave this for 3 to 5 minutes to sort of work in there, get the grunge out. And then I'm going to use my trusty little scrub brush here to take all this stuff out. So now I'm going to take my Hoppe's 9 bore cleaner. I'm going to unscrew it. I'm going to soak my little rag in it. Give it a little drip off there. I'm going to run it up the bore here. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to run it up into the chamber and down the bore. And what I want to do is I'm just wetting the bore with this cleaner. So now that that's in there, see it's a little bit dirty there, time for a good cleaning. So now that's going to soak for 5 minutes and we'll let the magic do its work here. So here's the bolt carrier assembly. We have our captured springs and rods here, our back plate. We have our actual bolt on the side there, and we have a retaining pin. Inside there we have our firing pin. So I'm going to check this out. I need to make sure that this is the new firing pin with the double notch and not the single. So I'm going to find that little pin. Just going to give it a knock. There we go, pin is out. Almost. Pin is almost out. There we go, pin is out. So now we'll see that this thing comes up. The retention here. If I can get it. Oh, firing pin comes out the back. With our spring, I see it is the double ring, so this is the new firing pin. It's a little dirty, so we'll clean that in the spring up here. And then we have our pieces here. So we pull out, see again, a little dirty, and our actual bolt. So here we're gonna see, here's our ejector. We're gonna especially check for any fouling or copper, anything like that. There's the end of there's a striker there for the pin. And yeah, there's the hole. So we're gonna spray a little, we're gonna put some of this on here with our scrub brush. Or a pad soaked. We're going to clean up the end here, let this soak in, make sure we get rid of all that gunk. and then use our brush here to give it a good little scrub. Just make sure we get in. Want to clean that area. Pay special attention to the ejector there, and sometimes you get some brass built up in there. So we're going to let this sit for a minute. We can also put some of the cleaner on the actual bolt itself. Get rid of any carbon buildup. Spread it around, that's fine. Get it all in there. You're going to see your carbon buildup sort of in the front here, along the sides. So just give that a quick little scrub with your brush. Get rid of any carbon built up. All that great stuff. And let that go to work for a couple minutes as well. Once that soaks in, we're going to reassemble it, and we should be good to put it back in. So I'm going to use some of my Ballistol here, the Gun X. I really like this stuff. Just going to give a quick spray. You don't want to oversaturate it. We're going to wipe most of this off anyway. Just want to make sure your stuff's lubricated, neutralize the stuff that we put on there before. So we're just going to do like a quick wipe. It's nice and clean. We've removed all the fouling, everything like that. Now the trick with this stuff, with the hoppies, is to just let it do its work. If you put it on and scrub, you're going to get a good result, but not perfect. If you let it sit for the recommended amount of time and let it actually do its work, you're going to have a much better result. So we're just going to wipe these down here. Give it a quick wipe down. Give our firing pin a quick wipe down. Spring. I'm going to reassemble this bad boy like that. Now we're going to take this, wipe off whatever leftover oil we have on here. Perfect. Now we're going to insert our bolt. Make sure it's the right way here. It is. Perfect. So this has to go in first, this little guy. So it's going to go in that hole there. Apparently it wants to be stubborn. Oh, okay, perfect. Apparently I just had this twisted the wrong way, so that is important. Watch out for that. That'll drop in, and the firing pin should go right up in there, just like that. So now that that's in like that, we can see the hole for our pin is open. You can see air through it. We're good to go. Now we're going to take our pin. We're going to push our firing pin in just a little bit from the back so we make sure we're flush. We're just going to drop our pin in, and we're going to give her a tap in. Look at this. Now normally you'd have a little hammer or something for this, but I'm just using my punch because I left my hammer upstairs. Perfect. Nice and smooth. So we're going to wipe off any extra oil. We're going to make sure we move as we're supposed to, and we do. Clean up any oil back here. Our rods move freely. And we're good to go on to the next step. All right, so now that we've given this 5-6 minutes to set in and really do its work, we're going to take our brush and we're just going to run it up the action, up into the chamber again, and just into the barrel. Now we're going to just give it a good scrub. And I always prefer to go this way with it. I like to push the crud out of the front. Instead of going from the front in, I feel like I'm just pushing all the crap back in this way. So I much prefer to push it out this way. Give it a good scrub, and now we've let the brush do its job there. So now that that's done, I'm going to disconnect this tip, and we're going to put on the jag. So the jag you'll see here is a tight little piece, and you take the cloth and stick it over the end, and it's going to give you a tight seal to push all the crap of the barrel up in one good go here. So I'm going to screw this on. I'm going to take our little piece of cloth, stick it over the jag. Oh, so I can actually get it on there. There we go, just like that. And the point of this is that it should push everything out in one swift push because it's so tightly aligned with the barrel. There we go. And as you can see, took out a bunch of that crud. Whoa. And it's really cleaned up in there. So we'll pull this out and we're good to go. All right, so now we're going to run just a clean one up, a clean patch, just to pull out anything else that we didn't get with that. And it looks like it did a pretty good job. So I see a little bit on there. I'm going to run another just to make sure that we're nice and squeaky clean for when I run the mop up there with some oil. So again, we'll just run this patch up.
and out. Yeah, that one looks much better. So we're gonna take our tip off. There we go. Make sure our whole rod doesn't disassemble by accident, even better. And now we are going to run our mop. So I'm just gonna lube this up with a bit of oil. And it's just nice and moppy. It's gonna get into all the grooves and make sure we're nice and lubricated. Again, with the Gun X, big fan of this stuff. Just gonna get it on my bit there, give it a good little spray. And I'm gonna run that up the barrel as well here. You can really feel it sort of start to lubricate, clean things up. We're gonna give it another spray. Just run it, make sure we're nice and cleaned up. That feels nice and clean. I think that's it now for this part. We'll give a quick lube up inside of the action here. Again, you're gonna wipe out most of what you've put in. You just want a little bit in there to lubricate. If you put too much lube, stuff can stick to it, dirt can stick to it, and it just makes a real pain in the ass to work with. So a little bit of lubrication is good. Too much, no bueno. So make sure we're good here. And that's it for this step. All right, so now it's time to reassemble the upper and the lower here. So we're gonna make sure that our pins are out. We're gonna line it up. So now this is one thing I love about the Siberian is it's super simple. So we literally just push this pin in the front. We're gonna leave the back pin out because we're gonna wanna put the bolt carrier in. And we're just gonna take it out of our holder here. I'm gonna open up my tripod to make it a bit easier to work with. Perfect. Now, here we go. We have the upper and lower attached again. Now we need to take our bolt carrier. Now the bolt is very specific on this rifle, so it has to be in the forward position to go in. If it's not in the forward position, it's not going to go into battery, and you're going to have a pain in the ass trying to fix it. So make sure that your bolt is all the way forward, your springs are clean and free of any debris, and we're going to break open again on that pivot point. Now this is the non-reciprocating charge handle. There is a detent here. So you push it all the way forward until you feel that little click, and you'll notice the dust cover is nice and smooth there. And once that's done, we can break open the rifle. So now that we have the upper and lower attached with that front pivot pin, we can open it up. We're gonna make sure that charging handle is all the way forward into that detent and that our bolt is forward. Now something I've noticed with this rifle is that even if it's like this, sometimes you won't go into battery. See how it's not going in? I have to push on the bolt from the bottom, and I notice that it just drops it right in. So once that's in, you can drop that back down, you're gonna push that pin in, and you're just gonna cycle. It works. We're good to go. All right, so now that the rifle is reassembled, we've done our cycle check. Everything looks to be functioning correctly. We're in safety, so that won't click. Okay, that's good. I don't like how heavy that trigger is, but it is what it is. So we're just gonna make sure there's no extra oil and that we're good to go, that we're cleaned up. And that is that's the guide to cleaning the Siberian. It's a pretty easy rifle to take apart. I love how modular it is, how easy it is to clean. The bolt carrier all together like that with the retained rods is a real lifesaver and a real, it makes it easy. I've seen some other ARs where you open it and the springs pop out, and it's a real pain to sort of put back together, and some even have to be more intrusive than that. So I love how they've made this so that way you can field strip it pretty easily, just with the pins. And worst case, I've been in the field and I've had to push the pins and they were a little jammed, so I've used a round. I've just pulled out a bullet and pushed them in, and it's like the perfect fit. So I like the rifle so far. I've put a couple thousand rounds through it, and I haven't had any catastrophic failures or anything like that. Maybe one failure to feed. Now, I think the mags make a little difference with this. Definitely use good mags. I recommend the cross mags. And that being said, that's the complete guide to tearing this down. In the next video, we'll open up the gas block, and I'll show you how to clean out the gas block on this, take off the handguard as well. Like the video if you can, that's a huge help, and subscribe for the next video coming out. Thank you.